Hey everybody, what's going on? Today I'm going to talk about the app Turo and basically being a host for Turo, so renting a vehicle of yours. I'm just going to do some quick pros and cons, and then at the end I'll try and throw in a shot of some of the analytics from my experience. This is my first year using Turo. I think I used it for about 5 months, roughly from end of May, beginning of June to about. Seems like it really kind of slowed down in August, and I have a couple more in September. But for right now, everything's kind of slowed down. So we'll say for 4 or 5 months. Overall, what I thought of it, show you the analytics, let you kind of decide for yourself. But just to get into it, some of the quick pros and cons. I can't talk. The pros are obviously it's extra cash flow for you as the person that's a host. And if you have a payment on your car, it's paying your payment. So there's at least one less bill for you. Hopefully, hopefully it's paying more than your payment. So it's putting a little money in your pocket. But also, if you own the car outright, then it's just putting money in your pocket. So at that point, your car is kind of become an asset for you. And if you didn't pay a lot for the car and you're kind of partial to it, then who cares? Just rent it until you get whatever you want for it until you can't rent it anymore. That's probably what I would do. But yeah, basically the pros are somebody else is paying your car payment and you're hopefully making some money at the end of every month, or every after your car payment you're still pocketing some money. The cons are Turo does take a fee basically for you using their site and for their services. They are going to take a fee for it. It's not super significant, and you can kind of choose the fee depending on what risk you want to take with being liable for any damages to your vehicle. For instance, I think it's a 70, don't quote me on this, but I think it's a 70 to about a 90% pay program. And initially what I did was, I think it's 70, maybe it's 75%. You get 70, let's say 75 for the sake of conversation, 75% of the fees from renting your vehicle. Turo takes the rest basically because they're taking the risk. If something happens to your vehicle, you're using their site. They have all the services and people they have to pay to answer phones and stuff like that. And you have a small deductible of, I think it's $250 if anything happens to your vehicle while the person's using. Likelihood is probably somebody doesn't want to wreck your car any more than you want them to, so nothing's going to happen. But if it does happen, versus I think the highest you can go is 90% you can take 90% of the profits, and you have a really high deductible. It's like $2,500 if something happens. So that might be kind of hard to cash out. You are taking home more pay, which is what I decided to do. I wanted to take home 90% and put more risk on myself versus Turo getting that extra, that extra 15-20% that they're taking. I said no, I'd rather take the risk, cross that bridge when I get there, maybe work out with the person that is renting it, and just kind of deal with that later. But anyway, so that's one of the cons is they take a fee. And it is putting miles on your vehicle. So wear and tear over time, cars are mechanical, stuff's going to go wrong. Depending on what kind of car you have, it might be like if you're renting a Volkswagen, I don't think I'd do it. I don't think I'd want to do a German car on there. They're just expensive. They're a lot of maintenance anyway. Somebody else driving at. Personal preference. Toyotas are great, but I'm getting way besides the point here. It's extra miles on your vehicle. So, if it's a car that you wouldn't want to put a collector car on there and let other people, or a car that's super sentimental to you on there and let other people rent it, it'd just be a bad idea, right? So having a car that you're kind of partial to, that's a good car, it's reliable, you can drive it too, but you're not missing it if it's gone. Something like that, and can go kind of high miles so you can rent it out and keep profiting as long as you can. And then maybe, who knows, throw another motor in there and you drive it until another 100,000, 200,000 miles. So that's kind of basically it. And on the mile thing, it seems really hit or miss. Like I had some that their trip was up to 1,200 miles, and I thought, whoa, it's a lot of extra miles for somebody to put on your vehicle. Ugh. And you thinking how many of those are you gonna get, those 1,000, 1,200 miles? But so far, I think the highest anybody's gone is about 600 miles in a trip. And that was probably over a 6 or 7 day period. So you're thinking that's 100 miles a day, and that's quite a bit of driving too. And that's the most. There's some that they've had it for 3 days and they drove 60 miles, so 20 miles a day, or some had it for a week and drove 200 miles or even less. So it kind of depends. I think you really just want to look at your area if you can, if you're thinking about doing this. Go on Turo, see what stuff's renting for, because sometimes your area can really matter. It might be a Prius is really hot where you're at. You know, you might be in Southern California or somewhere in South Florida where you're driving super far everywhere you're going, and somebody just wants a cheap, economical car. So they might want like a Prius, or they might have a group of guys coming for a bachelor party. They might want a really nice SUV. You never know. So kind of get on Turo, do some homework for your area, see what stuff is going for. Some of those nice new Tahoes, Expeditions, things like that, people got them for 200, 250 bucks, 300 bucks a day, maybe even more. I think I might have seen something crazy like 400 bucks a day somebody was asking for a certain car. So it really, sky can be the limit, but you're also kind of you're also kind of stuck at where your area is and what the demand is for that area. Luckily for me, a Jeep is kind of a great in between to have, because people want to come out here in Montana and drive around in a Jeep and take the top off and go see bears and camp and whatever else. And a Jeep's kind of good for that. But anyway, I think that's really all I got for Turo. Overall, it's been great for me. Like I said, I'll throw up a quick screenshot of some analytics for me. For what it was in the 5 months. I would say it was definitely worth it. Again, I wouldn't put like my prized possession car or anything sentimental on Turo myself and rent it, just because stuff happens. Cars are mechanical. Even if the person's treating your car well, there might be somebody in a parking lot that hits your door or something. They just don't care. So people suck. Yeah, but that's really all I got. If I missed anything, or if you have any other questions, feel free to drop a comment below. Let me know. Also, if you like this video, feel free to give a like and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Hope everybody has a great day, great Labor Day weekend, and we're out. Thanks again, guys.